plane prove the flat Earth?
Yes.
Because I was searching for a plane accident and I didn't know what it was all about, and it had to do with this Malaysia airplane disaster. And suddenly I was seeing that, and my wife said, "Did you see this here with the flat Earth, the pilots, and I mean, you flew, you have a license. Did you see the same?"
Yeah.
And I watched it 10 times, and suddenly I had that paradigm shift. This is really how it is. We have no satellites.
Yeah.
Because we have no GPS satellite system. It's all land-based. Because
Yes.
I knew that from my pilot education, that we worked with Lorraine, long-range navigational system.
Yes.
And that is land-based. I know that for a fact. So I called a friend of mine in Germany and said, "Listen, how is that navigation system for ILS actually working?"
Yeah.
He said to me, "Yeah, it's actually antennas in every country. There's so and so many antennas,
Yes.
and they're all strategically built into the landscape.
Yes.
And it works some similar like an NDB, so non-directional bearing.
Yes.
And this is how it works." And I was digging and digging, and then I found Quantum.
Yes.
I said, "Hey, listen, when you fly from Ireland or from Argentina to New Zealand, how do you fly?" And it didn't give me a direct answer, but then I got a pilot from Australia on the phone.
Yes.
And he told me, "Yeah, we're flying actually 2 legs." And I said, "Why are you flying 2 legs?" And he said, "Yeah, we fly mostly over the Emirates because that is the best way. This helps the length of the flight."
Yes.
And I said, "Yeah, but that is totally off track." And he said, "Yeah, I don't know either why we are doing this, but we have our what's it called? Our ETOPS. ETOPS is the estimated flying time over open sea.
Yes.
And you cannot extend it over certain hours."
Yes.
It's a little bit complicated to explain why they do that. So we have to fly over land. And then I talked to a guy in Denver when I was down in Denver in USA.
Yes.
And we flew together to Sacramento.
Yes.
And I told him this story, and I said, "Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I have a guy who is working for the Navy, or he worked for the Navy. Maybe we ask him." And then it came to pass that we asked him and said, "Yeah, if you really ask me that question, I think that we have a flat water surface." And so it came in rolling. No?
Yes. Yes.
And more and more and more things I discovered. And then I started talking about this in the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yes.
And they actually, what can I say? They kicked me out. They said, "You know what? You create so much derision with your flat Earth.
Yeah.
Nobody is interested in this crap.
Yes.
So you know what? We don't like you here. So you better go."
You were disfellowship.
Huh?
They disfellowshipped you from the church because you brought these points.
Yeah, not this fellowship. I decided not that they go that route. I said, "You know what? I honestly like like-minded people, and I honestly like people. They are preaching the word of God.
Yeah.
I like godly people and not religious people. And I have enough anyway here. So you know what? It doesn't hurt me. I go. So please take me off your email list."
Yes.
Because what they were sending to me was anyway nonsense. It had nothing to do with the truth.
Yeah.
And it had just what is it called? They teach now in Seventh-day Adventist churches mostly love and
that's it.
People and,
they shy.
And all.
Yeah, they shy away from even talking about like the harshness of prophecy, and even they don't talk about those things anymore nowadays. Hey.
Yeah, they're not talking about. And I said, "You know what?
They're becoming like all the other churches."
Yeah, they're becoming exactly like the other churches. And said if you read Ellen G. White in a great controversy, then you see exactly what is going on here, and that it takes place the fulfillment what the Bible actually prophesied from Daniel, and fulfillment in Revelation.
Yes.
And I said, what you're doing here is not talking about the enemy. The enemy is the papacy. That is the beast.
Yes.
And you're not pointing that out anymore. So I actually had enough too. I said, you know what, I go. My question for you is, we have to get somehow together.
Yes, I agree on that.
Eventually, you trust me to exchange email addresses, because I want to do some experiments with guys.
Yes.
They believe in a flat Earth and not ridicule this idea, because all the other stuff is nonsense. The flat Earth is the real thing. That is,
exactly.
We have technology today they didn't have 500 years ago, and we can do what is it called? Synchronized in time. We can do an experiment that would probably baffle everybody.
Yes.
My email address, if you have something to write and you trust me, I can give it to you right now.
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab my. Let me just grab something here too that I can write it on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's your email?
My email is @nexans.com. Nexans.com. Yeah.
Yes.
Nexans is one of the biggest cable manufacturer in the world.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you are one of the top engineers there.
Yeah, I am the engineering manager for this company. Yeah. So,
what's the engineering again that you taken?
I'm actually a server dynamist. I worked for Porsche and for BMW in engine development in Germany. So.
Oh, okay.
So I did what's called to build engine. That is my specialty. But I'm a manufacturing engineer.
Yes.
Mechanical manufacturing engineer.
Yes.
So by trade.
Ah.
My education.
So you know about some fluid mechanics and how pressure and velocity works, those relationship.
Yes.
Can I ask you something?
Pardon?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
And this is where I don't know why I don't hear people talking about this, because you know how we are told that the globe spins at 1,000 miles per hour, and where is the greatest rotation of velocity?
The greatest rotation, or the greatest velocity, is on the equator.
But it's at the surface of the Earth, correct?
On the surface of the Earth. It's
yes.
1,600 and I think 63 kilometers per hour.
Yes. So here's my question. When we know that the relationship between pressure and velocity are that of an inverse proportion, right?
Yes.
So the higher the pressure, the lower the pressure. I mean, the lower the velocity, or the higher the velocity, then the lower the pressure, correct?
Yeah, that is called. I think it has a relationship to this viscosity.
Yes.
Yes.
So my question then is, if we, and that's where I think I may be onto something, maybe I'm not. But if we have the greatest velocity or greatest rotation on the surface of the Earth, how come atmospheric pressure is greatest on the surface of the Earth, but decreases dramatically the higher you rise up in elevation? Right?
It's called pressure altitude.
Pressure altitude?
Yeah, it's pressure altitude. It's for aeroplanes, very important. It has to do with the density of the air.
Yes.
And with the weight of the aeroplane.
Yes.
The higher the weight of the aeroplane, the lower is the pressure density.
Mm-hmm.
If you punch in pressure density in the computer,
yeah,
search and relate that to an aircraft,
mm-hmm,
then you will see what I mean. It's called pressure density.
Oh yeah.
Everything has a density and a weight.
Yes.
If you have, for example, a heavy body in a fluid what has lesser density as this body fluid weight is, it will drop down to the ground.
Yes.
If the weight of this body is lighter than the density pressure, then it floats. It has a buoyancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, does it sound logical then when we observe the whole globe model that spins when at that kind of a rotational speed, at that extremely high speed, technically speaking,
you create not only this high speed you cannot withstand because the wind is, or the air, the atmosphere is not connected with chains.
Exactly, it's not.
To the earth.
It's not, exactly.
It's a totally different system.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would see no clouds moving.
Yes.
So you would have no, what is it called, pressure indifference from high pressure area to a low pressure area.
Yes.
You would not see any wind movement.
Yes.
What you would see is, I just would call it the shitstorm of your life, because everything was ripping apart, because it would be so brutal. We would have permanent tornadoes.
Yes.
Of the worst. The wind would speed with almost double the speed of an aeroplane in its maximum speed. So it is supersonic. It is idiotic. And the other thing is, if you have, for example, the radius of the Earth, and you have speed on a point on the surface of the Earth. On the equator, it is highest speed. On the North Pole and South Pole, it would be zero. You would just turn around your own axis.
Yes.
There's another effect, the centrifugal force. You would weight, if you are, I would say, a 100-kilogram man, you would weight only 200 grams. You can calculate that.
Yes.
This is m mass by velocity square divided by the radius.
Yes.
And if you see this formula, you would be almost weightless on the equator.
Yes.
But we do not see that. We do not see that.
And that's where I was looking at those formulas, not to cut you off, but like when I was looking at the formulas, I said there are things that don't seem to add up as well, right?
No, they're not adding up.
Nothing.
Nothing is adding up. Then we have, for example, a Polaris. Polaris can be seen if you are, for example, beyond the equator, 30 degrees, beyond in the southern hemisphere. You can still see in a very clear night Polaris, very flat on the north. I saw it in Argentina, and I was just wondering that I saw it, but I was in this time not thinking about this.
Yes.
This is the proof that anywhere, if you're in Edmonton, Vancouver, in Phoenix, Arizona, in whatever,
everybody sees it.
You always see this Polaris, and you see the stars moving around this Polaris star,
yes,
the center, and this is where God sits on top of this.
Yes.
Where God has His heaven. No?
Yes, and that's the thing. Like when I look at it, it makes perfect sense. The way the earth is essentially created, it's basically like the earth, because remember the Bible said that the stars were created for times and seasons, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So they move about the earth. They move around the center of the earth, and at the center of the earth, God basically placed a pinpoint star that will let us know, hey, this is the center of your earth. And the stars, they move about this center of the earth in such a fashion that it makes the like basically essentially when you look up from let's say you were to go above the earth, above the stars, it will appear as like a clock, right?
Yes, that is correct. And if you go in Genesis 6 and 7, then you can read that too. In 6 it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So, I assume that we have water above a firmament and water below a firmament. And that makes only sense, because if you read in the Bible, then God opened the gates of heaven, and it rained 40 days when the flood came.
Yes.
So there has to be water on top, and this rained and filled up this whole bubble we are living in,
yes,
and everybody perished. No?
Yes, and that makes sense how the earth could have been flooded and covered into you know.
Yeah, this is what they tried in the 50s.
Yeah.
That they tried to destroy this firmament. But I think God knows that a couple of idiots tried to destroy his firmament, his canopy, because otherwise nobody would have survived that. I think there is such a mass of water on top.
Oh, yeah.
And that would have destroyed everything.
Yes.
And they agreed with the Antarctic Treaty, that they do not do that anymore, and that is what they're protecting right now. They're protecting the ice wall, they're protecting the canopy, they're protecting from us the knowledge, what they know, that there is
they know what's there
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more land.
And I can understand also.
Yeah. You know what? My wife just came back. I do not have so much time anymore to talk. Maybe the best would be you sent me at first an email, so we have our emails.
Yes.
And then I sent you some documentation I have, and let's share that.
Yes.
And, maybe
we need to meet. We need
together.
to set. We need to set a time to maybe like some time that me and you can meet. And also, there's this guy who his name is Robbie D. And his channel is Celebrate Truth on YouTube. But we came together. He's also local in the same city as me here. Me and him are going to try and also do some experimentations. So it would be very, very helpful to have you join in and be also a part of this, so we can do experiments together. And
that is not a problem. I'm more than willing to do that. I know Richard Hopkins from Mr. Thrive and Survive. I know that guy too.
Oh, you know him? Yes.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
So I have contact to him. Okay, you know what? For now, I let you go, and please send me an email.
Yes.
And we discuss further later.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. I will do that, okay?
Yeah, and then let's get the group of people together and let's propagate the truth.
Yes.
Because I think that is what the Lord wants.
Yes. Oh, hey,
Okay.
One other thing, actually, before I hang up the phone.
Yeah.
I guess I accidentally left my microphone because I was doing a recording earlier. So I guess it recorded this conversation. Is it okay if I share your input with people on my audience?
It's absolute no problem to me.
Okay.
It's all the best to my knowledge.
Yes, definitely. I know there's lots of knowledge I'm willing to learn from you there. You have lots of experience in the engineering field, and I need to get a lot more input. So I'll be in touch with you. I'm going to send you an email, and then we'll maintain communication from there. Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, you
Thank
take care. Yeah. Okay. Bye.